question. A question that keeps me up at night. Imagine a country controls the most advanced artificial intelligence systems in the world. Does it matter what their constitution says? Does their military budget matter? Do aircraft carriers matter? I've studied the last 500 years of technological revolutions. Every era is defined by a single dominant technology. Whoever controls that technology writes the rules for everyone else. Steam engines gave Britain an empire. The atomic bomb gave America supremacy. The internet created American dominance for 3 decades. Artificial intelligence is the next inflection point, and for the first time in 75 years, the United States is not guaranteed to win. Most people think about AI as ChatGPT writing emails, or image generators making art. That is not what this is about. The countries that dominate AI will control 3 things. First, the weapons systems that win wars, autonomous drones, cyber offensive capabilities, missile defense systems that react faster than humans can think. Second, the economic infrastructure that creates wealth. Whoever has the best AI will dominate logistics, manufacturing, drug discovery, financial markets, every knowledge-intensive industry. Third, the information environment that shapes reality itself. The algorithms that decide what billions of people see, what they believe, what they remember. This is not a competition over smartphones. This is a competition over who shapes the future of human civilization. Here is the uncomfortable truth. China is not just competing anymore. In several critical areas, they are pulling ahead. I call this the AI sovereignty war. Unlike previous technology races, this one has a time limit, because AI has a property that steam engines and nuclear weapons did not have. It is recursive. AI builds better AI. Once you get far enough ahead, you stay ahead forever. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what I call the sovereignty stack. This is the hierarchy of control that determines whether a country is truly independent. At the bottom of the stack, you have resource sovereignty. Can you feed your people? Can you power your economy? This is why oil mattered in the 20th century. In the middle, you have manufacturing sovereignty. Can you build the things your economy and military need? This is why the TSMC choke point is so critical. We discussed this in the last episode. At the top of the stack is cognitive sovereignty. Can you think faster than your rivals? Can you innovate faster? Can you make better decisions? For all of human history, cognitive sovereignty was distributed. Every country had smart people. Every country could innovate. The difference was in resources and manufacturing capacity. AI changes that equation fundamentally. AI is intelligence as a service. It is bottled cognition. Whoever controls the most advanced AI systems gains a compounding advantage in every domain. Think about it this way. Your rival has an AI system that is 10 times better at designing chips. They will soon have better chips. Better chips mean better AI training infrastructure. Better infrastructure means their AI improves faster. The gap widens exponentially. This is why AI is different from every previous technology race. There is a runaway dynamic. The leaders pull further ahead. The followers fall further behind. Eventually, the game is over. Right now, we are in what I call the decisive decade. The window when leadership in AI is still contestable. But that window is closing fast. Let me show you where the competition stands today. I need to be honest with you. The picture is more complicated than most Americans realize. The United States still leads in foundational AI research. Companies like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic are producing cutting-edge models. American universities still publish the most influential AI papers. But leadership in research does not guarantee leadership in deployment, and that is where China is making its move. Let me give you some numbers. In 2023, China published more AI research papers than the United States for the first time. Not just more papers, more highly cited papers. China graduates 7 times more STEM students than the United States every year. 7 times. That is not a rounding error. That is a structural difference. Chinese companies are deploying AI at a scale that American companies cannot match. Alibaba's logistics network uses AI to coordinate hundreds of millions of packages per day. Baidu's autonomous driving program has more real-world data than any Western competitor. But here is what really concerns me. China is treating AI as a national priority in a way that America is not. In the United States, AI development is driven by private companies pursuing profit. That is our system. It has advantages. It encourages innovation and risk-taking. But it also has a weakness. Private companies optimize for shareholder value, not national strategic objectives. OpenAI is not asking whether their technology strengthens American power. They are asking whether it increases revenue. China does not have that separation. In the Chinese system, there is no meaningful distinction between corporate strategy and state strategy. When the Chinese government decides that AI is a priority, the entire system aligns. Universities redirect research. State banks provide unlimited capital. Regulations are adjusted to favor deployment. The best engineering talent is steered into the sector. I spoke to a researcher who left a Chinese tech company last year. He told me something I cannot forget. He said, "In Silicon Valley, AI is a product. In China, AI is a weapon." Let me give you a specific example. In January 2025, a Chinese company called DeepSeek released an AI model. This model shocked the American tech industry. It achieved performance comparable to OpenAI's GPT-4, but it was trained for a fraction of the cost. How did they do it? By using older, less advanced chips. The same chips that US export controls were supposed to block. American policymakers assumed that if you denied China access to NVIDIA's 100 GPUs, you could slow their AI development by years. DeepSeek proved that assumption wrong. They optimized their algorithms to run efficiently on less powerful hardware. They used novel training techniques that required less compute. They worked around the constraint. This is the pattern I keep seeing. American strategy assumes that China will play by our rules. China keeps finding ways to change the rules. Now let me talk about data. AI models are only as good as the data they are trained on. In the data race, China has structural advantages that most people do not appreciate. China has 4 billion people. The United States has 330 million. That is a 4-to-1 advantage in generating training data. But more importantly, China has fewer privacy restrictions. Chinese companies can collect, aggregate, and use data in ways that would be illegal in the United States or Europe. Is that a feature or a bug? From a human rights perspective, it is deeply concerning. From an AI training perspective, it is an advantage. Chinese facial recognition systems are the best in the world. They have been trained on billions of images, collected from surveillance cameras across the country. American companies cannot do that. We have laws against it. This creates a dilemma. Do we sacrifice civil liberties to compete in AI? Or do we accept that our values create constraints that our rivals do not face? There is no easy answer. But we need to acknowledge the trade-off. Now let me talk about energy. Training cutting-edge AI models requires massive amounts of electricity. GPT-4 reportedly cost over 100 million just in compute expenses. Future models will cost billions. The country that can generate cheap, abundant electricity will have a structural advantage in the AI race. And this is where things get interesting. China is the world's largest producer of solar panels. They are building nuclear power plants faster than any other country. They are investing in grid-scale battery storage. Meanwhile, the United States is struggling to build new power generation. Environmental reviews take years, and IBM blocks projects. Energy costs are rising in many regions. If AI training requires exponentially more power every year, and if China can generate that power more cheaply, they win by default. This is the kind of unsexy infrastructure competition that determines technological leadership. And right now, we are losing. So what does it mean if China achieves AI supremacy? Let me game this out across the 5 wars I discussed in previous episodes. First, the military dimension. AI-driven warfare is not science fiction. It is happening now. Autonomous drones that can identify and engage targets without human oversight. Cyber weapons that can paralyze critical infrastructure in milliseconds. Missile defense systems that react at machine speed. If one side has significantly better AI, they do not just have an advantage, they have near total dominance. Human reaction time becomes the bottleneck. The US military is planning for this. But planning and execution are different things. Execution requires the industrial base to actually build the systems at scale. Second, the economic dimension. AI will determine productivity growth for the next century. The country with the best AI will automate faster, innovate faster, dominate every high-value industry from pharmaceuticals to finance to advanced manufacturing. American workers are already competing with AI. In 10 years, they will be competing with Chinese AI that is better, cheaper, and integrated into supply chains that do not include the United States. Third, the information dimension. This is where it gets truly concerning. Imagine a world where China's AI systems are better at generating content, manipulating media, and shaping narratives than anything the West can produce. They could flood social media, with AI-generated propaganda that is indistinguishable from real content. They could create deepfake videos of Western leaders saying things they never said. They could undermine trust in every institution simultaneously. We are already seeing early versions of this, but we have not seen what is possible when AI reaches the level where humans cannot detect the manipulation. The scary part is that this is not even malicious. It is just the logical endpoint of algorithmic content generation at scale. Fourth, the technological dimension. If China achieves AI supremacy, they will not just lead in AI, they will lead in everything AI touches. Drug discovery, materials science, climate modeling, fusion energy research. Every scientific domain will tilt toward whoever has the best computational tools. Here is the critical part. Once you fall behind in AI, you cannot catch up by copying. By the time you copy their current model, they have already moved 2 generations ahead. This is the compounding advantage I mentioned. It is exponential, not linear. Finally, the internal order dimension. AI gives governments unprecedented tools for social control. China is already using AI for surveillance, social credit systems, predictive policing. If their AI systems become significantly more advanced, they could create a level of control that makes Orwell's 1984 look quaint. Here is the part that should worry Americans. Authoritarian governments might be better positioned to deploy AI. They do not have to worry about privacy laws, democratic accountability, public backlash. The values that make us free might be the values that make us lose. For you as individuals, the AI sovereignty war matters in ways most people have not thought about. First, career planning. If AI is advancing as fast as it appears, many knowledge worker jobs will be automated or augmented within a decade. The question is not whether your job will be affected. The question is whether you are positioned in the part of the economy that benefits from AI or the part that is replaced by it. Skills that complement AI will become more valuable. Creative problem solving, emotional intelligence, complex human interaction. Skills that compete with AI will be commoditized. Routine data analysis, code generation. Second, investment positioning. The companies and countries that lead in AI will capture enormous value. The companies and countries that fall behind will see their relative position erode. This does not mean you should buy every AI stock. Many will fail. But it does mean understanding that this technology shift is as significant as the internet. Position accordingly. Third, information literacy. As AI-generated content becomes indistinguishable from human-created content, your ability to discern truth becomes critical. We are entering an era where seeing is no longer believing. Every video, every image, every document could be synthetic. The people who develop strong critical thinking and verification skills will navigate this world better than those who do not. But the deeper question is about values. Do we want to compete with China by becoming more like China? Or do we find a way to lead in AI while maintaining the civil liberties and democratic institutions that define us? I do not have the answer, but I know the question matters. The AI sovereignty war is not like previous technology races. It is faster. It is more consequential. Once it is decided, it might be permanent. We are in the decisive decade. The countries that make the right investments now, that align their systems for this competition now, will shape the next century. The countries that assume their past dominance guarantees future success will find themselves in a world they no longer recognize. History shows that technological leadership is not destiny. The British invented the computer. The Soviets reached space first. But leadership at the beginning does not guarantee leadership at the end. What matters is execution. What matters is whether a society can organize itself to compete at the highest level while maintaining the values that make it worth defending. The big cycle teaches us that empires rise and fall based on their ability to master the critical technologies of their era. AI is our era's test. If you understand the sovereignty stack, you understand why this race is not just about technology. It is about who gets to define what the future looks like. In the next episode, we will explore the currency endgame, why the dollar's dominance is more fragile than most Americans realize. Stay curious, stay resilient, and above all, stay adaptive.